Well, I don't often do unboxing and reviews of things that are not to do with guitar. Usually I talk about plugins and modelers and I do lessons of any kind of sort. I've seen this product advertised on social media quite a bit recently, and I bought it just out of curiosity because I bought some IEM monitors from China a very long time ago. I was curious to see what was the progress, what a more recent model would be. And so I bought, with my own money, the Soundbrenner Wave, which are a set of in-ear monitor advertised for musicians. These, what they call chi-fi, have become quite popular in the last few years because they are relatively inexpensive and they promise, much better quality for a fraction of the price of the usual companies like, Shure, those names that you hear all the time, so to speak, for in-ears, especially for generic, like non-molded in-ear sets. I will show you a little bit on the unboxing, what you get in the box, and then we'll talk about how I feel about these in-ear monitor system. Fresh in from the post. Let's open it. Thought I'd do a little bit of an unboxing. As always, well packaged. And this slides out. And you have the case with an adapter. All the different tips independently. And this is the lead. Nicely protected. Yeah, this is it's quite long, and feels quite a bit plastic, I would say, but it's braided, L-shape jack. Let's take these out from the box. They look quite chunky, a bit like classic chi-fi, where you have a bigger. Let me compare them to. These are the classic 215s, so you can see they are a bit more substantial. Let's say, these are the Wave, and these are the 215s. They're quite more substantial in the way that they are, and these are just dual driver like the 215s. So you can plug in the right with the right. And on the left and the left. And that's pretty much it. Then we can pick whichever. Okay, I think you have to twist them in, so to speak. I think that's probably easier. But that's basically the finished product. Okay, well, that was a bit of a chaotic unboxing, but yeah, this is the set. As I said, it comes with a nice little pouch. It feels solid enough. It's quite, water resistant and or resistant to splash resistant. Let's call it that way. A nice zip, and some nice, nice little compartment for all bits and bobs. And the cable is of decent quality. It holds up just as much as any chi-fi, because this is the cable that comes with pretty much every single set that I've seen from all my musicians friends. The other ones that I had was the KZ AS10, I think, that I bought years ago. It's probably one of the first ones that came out. And I used them for a bit. I found them a bit, that set, the KZ, I found them a bit harsh on the top end. And I used it a handful of times, and then I kept them just as, reference, just as like a spare set. This set of the Soundbrenner Wave In terms of like EQ, I found it a bit more forgiving. It's not as harsh as the KZ, but it's definitely brighter than like a generic Shure 215s. This set that everybody in the world owns. The one thing that I don't understand why in this kind of Chinese um, leads, they never have something that collects the lead, behind your head, which is always the case, even at the basic level with the Shure, you have that element that, that pushes the lead tight against the back of your head. This never have that. So, I did that trick where you coil up a bit of that. I don't know what this is called, the tie clip, so to speak. But I picked of all the foam and silicone tip, I picked one of the foam ones. Unusually, because I prefer the silicone usually, but this seemed to provide more separation, so to speak, with the more sound separation. In general, I would say is good quality. The cable is quite long, which is great. The Is what you would expect from a Chi-Fi set of in-ear monitors. In terms of the sound, obviously this is difficult to show. Sometimes people look at the EQ curve. I would say these are brighter than the 215s. The 215s have that kind of like woolly sensation, so to speak. So that kind of low pass on the top end, which obviously is done on purpose because that allows you to have that set in your ears for a long period of time. Where I would say that's the trade-off. These are obviously clearer in sound, but the trade-off comes with the fact that I find them more tiring on like when I have them on for quite a while. And if there's a spike, obviously this is more obvious in this set than the Shure, the 215s. And so if you use them for gigs, you'll have to EQ the master bus. You can go into that app. Usually apps have a master EQ, so you can use that to take some of the 3-4K down and maybe add a bit of bass. Because I found this bass, as much as the bass is clear, and there definitely is more separation between the instrument, there's more clarity in the sound. I prefer to have a little bit more bass. So I would say with these ones, with a Soundbrenner, you will definitely be reaching for the master bus EQ in the app or in your phone if that's how you use them. But these are marketed for musicians. There are no generic like audiophile in setup in ears, and I definitely hear a difference. I want to say that the guitar sounds quite clear, and I do like the sound of the guitar through these. I would say in general, it's a good set with one negative comment. The comment is not necessarily in the product itself, it's in the how the product is posted, and potentially if I wanted to return it, how that would go. I assume it would go down because I bought these. I've seen quite a bit of advertising, quite a few positive comments. As much as comments can be, fake these days, I think you'd be hard pressed to have that many positive comments. The website that I found where there are reviews is a Trustpilot where there are quite a few, and I found them after I bought them, comments about the postage. And I have to agree that when I bought them, I assumed because it showed that the postage would have been handled by Royal Mail, which is the main company that holds that posts things here in the UK, and they're very good. They're very quick. Something would be posted usually in the UK within 2 days. Where when I started tracking this, the item showed up to be in Hong Kong, which wasn't obvious at the point of purchase. And I actually did send a message to the company saying that that is not okay. You should be clear that the item that you're purchasing is held in the Far East in this case. And it took 11, 12 days, which, I mean, it's okay if you know that. If I know that I'm buying something from China, I don't expect it to be here in 48 hours. I know that it will take a week when it's good. So it might take a couple of weeks at least. I want to warn you about that. Also, the problem is that, let's say if you're not happy with a product, you want to return it, it will be difficult to send it back and expensive to send it back to China if that is the case. I've not thought of returning them, but if that was the case, I know from past experiences that would be not as straightforward as returning them somewhere in England. Another thing is that there's quite a bit of advertisement of free shipping, but the shipping isn't free. At least my didn't qualify as free shipping. So I don't know what free shipping means. If you advertise it, you have to give free shipping, or at least say free shipping within these criteria. Okay. Again, so a bit more clarity, point of purchase, it would go a long way. Another thing about the cost of the set, obviously now that I have it in my hand, it's clear that this is a Chi-Fi set of in-ears. And when I bought the KZ, I don't have, I've not checked recent prices, but when I bought the KZ a few years ago, it was about £35. I think I bought the Ace 10s, which is incredibly inexpensive for a set of in-ears. A set of Shores nowadays, like the 215s, will be around £100, I'm guessing. So these were £80, and these are dual drivers. So there are two drivers inside. Yes, they come with a nice pouch. Yes, they come with a few bits and bobs, which is great. But obviously, for a Chinese set, I think I paid with shipping about £87. Are these worth £87? I'm not totally sure. I've got to say that in this economy where things have shot up quite a bit, it's difficult to gauge nowadays where things are worth and what things cost and how much companies are charging for things. If you're experienced with these if you have bought Chi-Fi IEM monitors, you roughly know what I'm talking about. You know the quality of the lead, you know the type of, the shell and the kind of sound you will be getting. Again, if you have any questions, if you want to leave a comment, if you bought these and you want to write your impressions in the comment section, please do so. And that's it for today. Check out the links in the description. Like, subscribe, share this video if you feel it could help anybody. And take care. Bye-bye.